Shout out to our brother Chill Will, who sent this video in of these cackling old hens disrespecting Kevin Samuels after his passing. Even one of them, Vivica Fox, calling it karma. We're not gonna waste any time. We gotta go ahead and jump into this. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell for all updates. Let's get into it.
Following the news of Kevin Samuels' death, Marlon Wayans posted this message on Instagram. Love him or hate him, he spoke his truth. We can view truth as hate, but sometimes his bold medicine didn't taste so sweet. And if you hated, why tune in? Why call in? Because healing comes in many forms. His was some nasty ass tasting medicine. He continued with, there's no right and wrong in this love, S-H-I-T. There's just discovery. And thank you for those you healed. And we forgive you if there are any damages because we know your intentions were to heal. Ladies, what are your thoughts on Marlon's post? And were you shocked when you heard about Kevin Samuels' death? Vivica, let's start with you because you seem to be having quite a reaction to this.
Well, me and Lisa Ray both had the whole side eye, like, what the hell? Is he kidding me? Healing? Healthy? This man was a hypocrite, in my honest opinion. He really was. I didn't find anything about him to be healing. He insulted African-American women on a consistent basis. One of his last statements that he said was that if you're over 38 and you haven't married or something like that, that you're no good and disposable. To me, it was a shock jock. And, you know, I hope this is teaching folks a lesson about the karma that you put out, the negativity that you put out in the world, that when karma comes knocking at your door, she might not be so kind. So, you know, the fact that he killed over real quick and was supposedly with a woman that we don't yet know the nationality, rest in peace.
First of all, you can tell that Vivica Fox, she didn't really watch Kevin Samuels outside of his clips that went viral on social media. For her to make that statement that she said, oh, one of the last things he said. You know, the truth is, women like her, they finally had someone tell them the truth. They had been used to men kissing their behinds. But Kevin Samuels was a person to say, hey, you're a 50, 60-year-old woman. You're not the same woman from 20 years ago. You're not the same woman from 30 years ago. Kevin Samuels gave women like Vivica Fox a reality check. That's why they hated him. But her reaction, oh, karma and all this other stuff, these are some evil witches. And let me tell you, this is the type of woman that some of you make the mistake and fall for. The type of woman wishing karma and celebrating people passing away and stuff. That's that mean-spirited person that a lot of you end up in divorce court with. A lot of you end up in child support court with. Not only are they manipulative, but they're vindictive.
Oh, yes. There you go. Lisa Ray, we got to go to you next. I want to hear what you got to say about this one.
You know what? I will say this. I like Marlon's response a little bit, half of it, because it was very grown up. And it was very in the middle-ish because he wanted to pay homage to him. And at the same time, giving him an excuse and an out to be able to say, well, maybe his truth helped some people. It was a little brash, but hey, that was his way. We do know for sure and certain that social media made him this breakout, you know, social Instagram famous person, you know what I mean? But I agree with Vivica. I think that sometimes when you are trying to help, it got to come in a kind of way because we're your kind. We are your type, meaning we're Black. You know what I mean? And we are family, you know what I mean? So when you talk to us, because we as a race have been through so much, and you know, it's almost like talking to us like this does not help us even listen and hear you. I didn't really follow him, and I didn't really watch him a lot because when I did sometime, I liked the way he looked, you know what I mean? But then when I turned the volume up, I kept turning it down, you know what I mean? He just looked debonair and he looked like, you know, oh, okay, let me listen to the brother. But once I did not like all of the, commentary that he had to say. So absolutely, rest in peace. You know, it was sudden. We didn't expect it. And, I don't wish this on anyone, and my condolences to his family.
I gotta push back a little bit on Lisa Ray. She's talking about, we're your kind, we're your family. I can't tell though. It's black people, some black men and black women running around celebrating somebody passing away. It's not a bunch of white people doing this. It's black people, the so-called family. And I'm still trying to figure out at what point did this become a part of our culture as the black family that Lisa Ray is talking about. And then they always have the same excuse. I didn't like his delivery. I didn't like his tone. He could have said it with more kindness. Even people that call them queen, princess, sweetie, and baby, they still don't listen to them. And that's just because they don't want to be told the truth.
All right, good points. Good points, Lisa Ray. And Selena, gotta hear from you. What you think?
Okay, so first of all, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. You know, I don't want to speak negatively on the deceased, but let's just be honest. Kevin Samuels consistently shook the table. Okay. And I feel like the word healing is the fool in a way, because I think, I'm just, rest in peace. But that's the fool. To say healing is the fool. I think that he was more, his words were more traumatizing. Yes. As opposed to healing. I don't think that anything that he said invoked healing. Now, maybe opened up some eyes, enlightened, yes. Again, shook the table, yes. Started conversations, yes. But healing, I would not use that word. And I think I have to agree with Lisa Ray on this too, because I think that, maybe Marlon was just trying to, find some light in this dark tunnel. But it's unfortunate how he passed. I hate that he did, even though I did not like the things that he said at all. And in my Lisa Ray voice, at all. Mm-hmm. I do understand where Marlon is trying to come from, but the word healing is a bit much and could possibly be kind of offensive in a way, because to the women who were actually on his show and he spoke those words, he spewed that venom towards, I don't think that they would think that they were healed when they left the show. They might have even had to go see a therapist after talking to him. Yeah. So I don't agree with the basis, a lot of the stuff he said, but I do understand what he was maybe trying to do. But rest in peace overall.
And Selena, please understand, these women, they needed therapy before Kevin Samuels even spoke with them. And that's another giveaway how I know they never really watched a full show. Kevin Samuels promoted therapy heavily on the show. And this 10 or maybe 20 minutes of talking to them, he wasn't the reason why they needed therapy. He pushed them to go to therapy for all the issues they had, which led to them calling him in the first place. And then realized that a lot of the time that they were the problem, or at least contributed to the problems that they were going through. So yeah, this whole thing of Kevin Samuels talking to people who called him, by the way, he didn't go out calling the women called him. They volunteered to appear on his show. He's the one who was pushing them to follow up with the therapist.
I'm going to say this, and people can be mad at me if they want to. I think just because someone passes on, it doesn't mean we just, now we can't say anything negative or honest about you. That's okay, you died. Guess what? Every single person in all these squares and everybody watching is going to die. So we can't be held accountable for the things that we said while we were alive. Listen, I think he has some very valid points. I think people are very unrealistic about relationships. I think a lot of women and a lot of men are. It's not a woman thing and it's not a man thing. But he just so happened to pop when he started coming for Black women, because he did start off being negative towards Black men, and people weren't really trying to hear that. Brothers weren't trying to hear about themselves, but what they were trying to hear about was how it's the women's fault.
Interesting.
So then he blew up, and then our dumbasses went and supported him. You know what I mean? And then he made, I heard, like up to $3 million off of his YouTube and all that from said Black women.
Claudia Jordan, it's not that Kevin stopped talking about men. He held men accountable too. He wasn't popular when he was talking about men only, because men being held accountable was just like another day in the neighborhood. It didn't cause huge protests or upset. But when he talked about women, It was more like, how dare you talk about the queens? He got popular from it because he was telling the truth, especially to black women, about what the men they wanted, the men with the money, the status, everything else, what those men wanted from women. He told them the truth about it. And then she's so evil. The whole time throughout this segment, she had like this smile on her face. Then you have Vivica Fox talking about karma. That's not accountability. Y'all are just plain evil, rejoicing in him passing away. And that's how you really know the state of men and women today. And then Claudia, she's up there defending the same group of black women who don't even claim or accept her. The sisterhood will argue you up and down about how Claudia, being raised by her white mother, excludes her from the sisterhood.
So I think, again, I think there is a place for people like Kevin Samuels to say, listen, you're being unrealistic. You have nothing you're bringing to the table and you want this high value man. Although Kevin Samuels himself was not a high value man. Why you playing? Okay. He just, he looked the part. And
you're not even playing. Yeah, you're not even
perpetrating the fall, because come to find out, he thought there was, this is the thing that kills me about this Instagram, this social media thing, all these people faking it for the gram, because supposedly he was, rolling the cars and this, that, and third. Heard he had an apartment, talking about how if you want to get, like a man like him, like he was some great catch. He was faking the funk for the gram, and karma caught up.
There she is again with that karma talk, Vivica Fox. First of all, Vivica, living in an apartment doesn't make you broke. Kevin Samuels, he lived in an apartment in the Buckhead area of Atlanta. Why would a single man need a mansion? Kevin Samuels, he was earning a lot of money, at least $300,000 per month. Some would argue that he was making more than the women that's talking about him right now on this show. So yeah, that's just another lie. And while they're hating on the multiple millions of dollars that he made, you would think that the sisterhood would be happy that the beneficiaries are black women, his black mother and his black daughter. He worked hard and he's leaving it all to two black women.
His legacy is unfortunate too. I think the way just hearing us all speak about him, I think this is important. I think that it is unfortunate that his legacy is that. You know what I'm saying? Like all we really have is our legacy and what we leave behind. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of messed up that this is your legacy. And I'll say this really quickly, like had he been someone that spewed racist venom, would we be saying the same thing?
No, we wouldn't.
I think
Go ahead.
That his tone and his narration supported the music that is out now, and that is why the female rappers can talk the way that they talk, because they are bucking up against what the men think. So we are more in your face, and here it is. I think that's a valid point.
If we can add this point real quick, I'm just shocked at how many men are like coming to this guy's defense. I found that to be so surprising that people were literally getting in debates about I thought the brother was telling it like it is and healing people and just telling the truth. I didn't like the way it came out. I'm like, really?
I understand men feeling like, listen, there's tons of shows. Every show that's talk show panel is pretty much a panel of women, and we get to talk about relationships and we get to talk about how we feel and how we've been wronged by men. I understand there's not a lot of outlets where men feel like they have that. Well, why don't y'all create one? Instead of when one comes along being negative to black women, y'all rally around him like he's your king.
Claudia, like, what are you talking about? That's what he did. He created a platform and advocated for men. Just like how every other platform on television, radio, print, social media is advocating for women, Kevin Samuels was just one platform advocating for men. Just one. And do you see her reaction? Like, is she listening to herself?
Like, yes, he did have some valid points, but not just about black women. Everyone should come to the table with something. I'm so sick of these raggedy men that got these big ass stomachs, not working, look a hot mess, demanding a 10. I deserve a 10.
And Claudia, that's why your whole argument is disingenuous. Because Kevin Samuels, believe it or not, he said the same thing that you're saying right now. He said that about men. Are you protesting that part too?
And I'm gonna call my sister to the table. I'm tired of women that don't work. All you think about is your nails and your hair and what bag you can get out of a man, thinking just because you have a vagina, you deserve the highest man on the totem pole. It doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just be honest. Everyone needs to bring something to the table. And I wish there was a platform that, kind of addressed both of it, because I feel like it becomes a battle of the sexes. Like the men jump on it because, he's giving it to the women. No, we all need to do better. Stop bringing nothing and expecting everything, men and women. It's not a women thing, because a lot of you brothers are doing the same exact thing Kevin Samuels was mad at women for.
But I want to give us our props, because us here at Cocktails with the Queens are honest and transparent about when we good and when we bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to another topic real quick then.
All that babble right there, that's how Kevin was able to blow up. When Kevin talked to men, he held them accountable as well. None of them will talk to women the same way that Kevin talked to men. Never ever will they do that. So they're really in no place to talk about accountability, because they really don't want accountability for women. It's women who are the most delusional, the most irrational. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started below in the comments. I want to know what you think about all of this. Special shout out to our brother Delvon, Tyrone W, and Jack, as well as Dark Power, Cousin George, Lawrence, and Hardwood King. I appreciate all of you. You can support this channel as well. Links are below in the description. Remember, the like button is free, so go ahead and smash it. Share this video and turn on your notifications.